Hi guys, and welcome to Ed's Drafts. In this video I'm going to be doing an overview of this body camera from Transcend. Now, as you might have noticed, it's not the first product that I have. I have also DrivePro 230, which is their dash cam, and I did a video review and it's on my channel as well. But today we're going to be talking about this bad boy right here. And this is their DrivePro Body 30 unit. Now, the history behind this is I was looking for the dash cam, and at the same time Transcend reached out to me saying, by the way, we have this new dash cam, would you like to review it? And I said yes, and they also asked me if I want to review this one since I had a similar unit previously, and I said yes as well. Now, I got both of these units about 3 months ago probably, and I did review of that unit over there a while back, probably a couple months ago, but I kept holding on to the footage of this unit, and I didn't know what to do about the video itself. And the reason for that is because this is targeted to business users, to security officers and the likes. I'm neither, and I can't really provide a proper opinion about what this product means like in a corporate environment. But at the same time, since I got it already from Transcend and I'm about to send it back, and I want to do some due diligence, and I have the video footage from my beautiful trip in Barcelona, I said to myself, why the hell not? So that's what this video is about. So guys, if I'm missing something, let me know. At the same time, if you are a consumer, so you just want a video camera with amazing footage capabilities, this is not for you. However, if you want something robust, reliable, waterproof, and the battery that will last you up to 4 hours, this is for you. Or if you're a business user, I hope that I'll have enough information for you to make your decision on whether to get or not get this camera. Now, at the same time, Transcend did release other cameras, which is DrivePro Body 52 and 20. They're slightly different from this unit, but I'm not going to be reviewing them. I'm just letting you know that such a product exists. So enough of that. Let's get this review started. Now, first things first, in the box, and this is retail box as well, you would get this camera with all the buttons around, which I'm going to talk about shortly. A USB to 3.5mm charger cable, which is a proprietary charger cable because this is not quite a standard cable. But at the same time, I think it works well, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video, so stay with me there. It includes the clip. So the camera basically, let's see if I'm doing it right, slots in like so, and then you can clip it onto your clothes, and this clip also rotates as much as you want, so you can clip it anywhere you want on your clothing, and it's pretty handy. Also includes another clip, or should I say another holder, which will use these Velcro pads that I included. And that's also a great option, especially if you attaching it to some smooth surface or something like this. And there's the camera. Now, a few words about the camera before I start this video. It's full HD 1080p recording at 30 frames per second, 130 degrees angle, aperture is f2.0. What all that gibberish means basically is you're going to have a great low light performance and a wide angle to record your video. It also has, as you can see, 4 dots here. So these are LEDs, and they're just not any standard LEDs, they're infrared LEDs, and that's going to help you in nighttime recording, which I'm going to show you footage of as well. Oh, by the way, it comes with this little booklet, very basic manual. You're probably going to learn more from this video than from this, but it's included. The camera, back to the camera itself, the battery is 3120 milliampere hours. So as you see, the unit is quite thick and it's heavy-ish. It's 130 gram. And it produces about 4 hours of video recording from this battery, so that's a plus. Comes with 64 gigabytes storage inside of this unit. It's high endurance storage, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. At the same time, you cannot remove it and you cannot replace it. It's water resistant, IP67. You cannot submerge it in water. However, if it has splashes or some dust or muck or something like that on it, shouldn't be a problem. So if you're cycling in the rain, not a problem. If you're using motorcycle in the rain, probably a problem. And one more thing I wanted to mention as well is the dock, which is optional. And the model number is TSDPD6N. Cost quite a bit of money, at least at the moment, which is August 2018. I found one for $500 in US and €700 in Europe. However, remember that this is targeted for business users, so there's software to come with it and support to come with it, and I don't think it's a massive amount of money. At the same time, it's quite expensive, and as I say, I think this is mainly due to proprietary software, and that dock comes in handy because this connector is a proper connector, in my opinion, to use for something like docks, unless you want to introduce something else proprietary. But as you see, it's simple. You don't need to worry about, I don't know, damaging anything. It's secure enough, solid fit. You don't need to worry whether you're putting it upside down or whatever, just like you would with the micro or mini USB. So from that point, it's an improvement, because previous camera I reviewed had, I believe, micro USB, which is great for consumers, not so great for business users. They changed that, so well done, Transcend. And that concludes what the camera can do. Now, if you switch on this camera, press and hold this button here on the front, it beeps, blinks. When it's ready, it's solid. Now I can press this button here and hold, and it will show you the status LEDs. So this one basically just says ready to record, or I can do the Bluetooth pairing, which I don't want to do right now. And this one right here shows the battery status. At the moment it's orange, so means the battery is running low. When it's red, well, you should charge it. You know the drill. On this side, this button, if you press and hold it, it vibrates, and basically now I'm in the stealth mode, as they call it. So if I press this twice, it's actually recording now, but you see no LEDs, there's no vibration or anything introduced in the device. It's recording. I double click, stops recording, press and hold, resumes the audio. And once again, if I was to record it in normal way, it beeps like that, and you see the LED here. Press and hold, you don't see anything anymore. That's a stealth mode. Press and hold, you're back into normal mode, and it shows what you're doing. If I press twice, as you see here, it's red, means audio is not being recorded, or audio is being recorded. So you can use buttons for most of the functions that you would need in normal daily use. Double click on that, takes a picture, everything is there. One little bit annoying thing, and I'm just going to leave it recording. I'm going to show you that in action. So it's recording now, just going to leave it there. Let's talk a little bit about the ergonomics. So the weight of the camera is 130 grams, and it has this clip here, which I mainly used. So it's really handy to put it on your, I don't know, uniform, backpack, or anything like that. At the same time, make sure that you have sturdy piece of clothing, and ideally a thick material, because of the weight of the unit. It has a tendency to kind of obviously look down. That's not great. So if you're getting these cameras, obviously think about these things as well. Another thing is battery and charging. Because the battery is non-removable and quite a big one, it will record 4 hours plus, but at the same time, it will take you probably 2 to 3 hours to charge it from completely empty. So you have to take that into account. It has an application. Now, this is what I was talking about. So every minute it will beep. If it's not in the stealth mode, you can change it easily by just press and hold. And now it's in stealth mode. It's not going to beep every minute. Back out of the stealth mode, and I'm going to stop recording. So as you see, it works every time. There's no issues or anything like that. It also allows you to do a loop recording, which basically just overwrites the old files, so you never need to worry about memory filling to full. and going into manually erasing it, because as you see, there's no LCD, nothing like that. Everything is done via software on the computer or via Android. I'm not sure about Apple, I presume Apple as well, but Android tablet has that functionality. So yeah, and it has image stabilization. I'm not 100% sure whether it's optical or digital. I've used it, it works. Not a great one, but it works and it is there. Video quality, you'll see samples later on. In terms of accessories, we already covered that. And let's have a look at the application. So I'm going to switch on the unit itself. Just a standard Android tablet, connecting to device, done. Two things you need to make sure is obviously your Bluetooth wireless is on, and also you need to make sure that you have your location services switched on. This is just to launch the application, even if you are not using the GPS. So as you see at the moment on screen, I can toggle it on or off. It was off. I can switch off the audio recording. And once again, as I'm using the app, you can see the LED lights up just as if I would use the button on the left side of the camera. So I'm just going to switch them on, doesn't matter. I can use this one here as well to switch on or off the stealth mode, which is handy to have. Shows me the storage, how much is left, shows me the battery. I can take pictures, I can record the video, I can go into photo menus, so go into settings. Obviously, can view the live view. It has a delay of probably about 1 second, so I'm not using it that often, but it's there. Resolution 720, 1080, 480p if you want. Have a look there. Video length 3 minutes. So basically what that does is it splits the video in 3, 5 or 10-minute clips. Standard thing there. Loop recording, as I mentioned there before, so you can allow it to loop and overwrite the old files. Buffered video length 30, 60, 90 or 120 seconds. What that basically means is when you switch on the unit, it starts recording, but it doesn't record on the unit itself. It simply records onto kind of like a buffer, and every 60, well, it will clear this buffer and will keep up to 60, 90, 120 or 30 seconds. I chose 60, but you can change the setting, and when you click record, it will record and include this pre-recorded buffered video length. At the same time, it eats into the battery, so keep that in mind. Video stamp, video label, self-explanatory watermark, image stabilization. I haven't tried the watermark feature myself, but I think when you have image stabilization, it always shows the icon. I can be wrong about that. Let's actually try now. So if I remove the watermark, normally when the image stabilization is on and it's recorded, it will show on the video. We're going to check that in a second. Default recording mode, buffering or recording. So basically what it means is when you switch on the camera, it either goes into buffering or recording mode. Stealth mode, infrared. Infrared, you can choose whether you manually control automatic. So for instance, if the scenes where you are will go relatively low in light, but you still don't want it to be recorded with infrared on, you can go to manual and you can toggle that yourself. Light frequency, pretty standard, and time sync, so basically synchronizes with the mobile device. Very handy features and very nicely laid out menus. One thing I don't like about this is if I click the back button, instead of going into previous menu, it wants to exit the app, and it does that every time with every menu. So you have to use this menu in the top left and go to home, live view, or whatever else you want. Now let's try this thing with the watermark. So I switched off the watermark. And let's see if you're going to have the image stabilization on watermark or not. And you're going to have your answer there. And I'm going to stop actually now. So there's that. So that's the application. As you see, quite a few functions there. Most of the functions, or at least most of the things that you would need to control while using this camera, you can control via the buttons on the sides, button in the front, and the other button down below. Everything is there. All the status LEDs are there. Very handy. Now, let's talk a little bit about the video quality. So I'm sure you guys want to see that. Sorry for the long delay. What I did is I recorded the daytime footage. I would like to start by showing you the stabilization. So basically me walking around, walking down the stairs with the stabilization off, and you can see it clearly in the video. Now don't mind the footage, date and time. As I said, I recorded it quite a while back and haven't quite started the actual review yet up until now. Another stabilization I did, which was just running around like a mad joke, and that worked out reasonably well as well. The third one for stabilization, I'm going to show you a little bit later, but I want to show you in terms of the daytime footage what it would look like on the motorcycle. I rented a motorcycle while I was in Barcelona. Down below you can see the name of the company that I used. Now, it's not an endorsement for them or anything like that. It's not a paid video. They have no clue that I'm putting their name in there, and it's just my personal recommendation. Look them up if you're in Barcelona and want to get a scooter. So that's that. In terms of the last bits, in terms of the daylight footage, I suppose, is indoors, and that's the dynamic range. So the first clip you're going to see there is going to be just me walking indoors. And that's what it looks like. So if you're using this camera, I don't know, for policing the malls or some indoor areas or something like that, that's what it would look like. And the second video is going to be me walking inside of this like a church on top of the hill in Barcelona beside the amusement park. I don't remember the name of the place, but basically outside is bright daylight. Inside it's kind of a bit of a shadowy area, so you need a bit of a low light capabilities, and it switches quite fast in between. It's actually a smooth transition. You don't see anything there, so that's great, because if you're jumping out from light to dark environment or vice versa, you won't have any issues with this camera. Another thing is obviously night lights. So as you see there, now, one thing about the night light is it's good, but it will be switching from kind of a low light capability of the sensor into the night mode. You can change that, but if you don't, it can switch anytime it desires to, and that's fine if you're using this camera for your work. If you're using for your travels or something like that, probably not the most desirable feature, so just keep that in mind. Don't let it do its own thing if you want a bit more control over that. Nighttime footage in terms of walking around, walking up and down the stairs, there's no problem at all. Looks fine. I did some footage also just to show you how it looks like when the video switches from the normal mode to the night mode using infrared LEDs, and nothing unusual there. It works pretty well, but works actually really well, just as advertised. And I obviously did some nighttime footage on the vehicle, so on the scooter, and that works probably just as well as the daytime footage. No worries there. The one thing I want to say about the footage overall is I've noticed that especially during the day, the footage looks really dull, and the reason for that, I think, is because there's no infrared filter. So when you see into the side of the road or any greenery that I'm passing, you're going to see that the leaves are turning into kind of this purple hue, and I think that's because of the lack of this infrared filter, which allows all sorts of light in that you wouldn't necessarily capture with a normal camera, but that allows you to capture more detail, which is a good thing. However, at the same time, the footage looks a bit dull, so it's not your cinematic HDR footage from the GoPro or something like that that you would expect, and that's not their target market. So yeah, there's that. So that's my review of this camera. Overall, I had no issues with it. As I said, my biggest disappointment was the quality of the footage. So while it is usable for the work environment, for any legal situation, anything like that, where you need to use this as a tool for your work. However, if you are into cinematography, want to record nice footage while you're on holidays, probably not the best thing to use. And bear in mind, whichever way you're going to use this unit, that you have the right equipment to clip it onto, or the right mount, because it's quite heavy at 130 grams, or reasonably heavy compared to anyway other cameras, but it has a big battery, so that's a big plus. And obviously keep in mind that optional dock that you can use multiple units to charge and synchronize with your database is quite costly at $500 or 700 euro. However, I expect the price to go down a little bit, and that's mainly probably because the proprietary software, which is to be expected in the business environment. So there's that, guys. I hope I did a reasonably good job in reviewing this Transcend DrivePro Body 30 body camera. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to answer. Keep in mind that this unit will go back to Transcend, so I'm not going to be holding on to it. So I'm not going to be doing a long time review, owner review or anything like that. But yeah, so far so good. Impressions are good. Video quality as you've seen there. The features as you've seen in the video, and you can also find them on the Transcend website. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day.